What up, everybody out there, podcast land? Thank you for tuning in yet again to another episode of Ken and Ross Present the Yeah, I Said It podcast. We expressing what our full capabilities. So you might want us in correctional facilities. Brainchild of my child. I'm the dad half of this operation. Ross Cooper coming to you live and in public, if you will. Already on 10, if you can't tell, for good reason. As always, I am rocking with the best. My co-host, please introduce yourself to the folk.
Skinny jeans don't mean your ass shoot. It means your booty claps. Yeah, well, shout out to Joe Ortiz. What's up, everybody? Everybody's having a good day, month, year, hour, second, all that good stuff. You watching other platforms, please share with your friends, your family, your pets, your enemies, bug on the wall, aliens outside, mailman, all that good stuff. And if you're watching on the YouTube, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Because if you don't, you have a itch on your back that you can never get.
Yo, that's the worst. That's making me itch right now thinking about it. But as I mentioned, I am just through the roof right now. We are joined by an amazing guest, a very good friend of mine. Um, the list of superlatives I could use is never ending, but I will let her tell you first. Please introduce yourself to the folks.
You muted. There you
I'm muted.
go.
Yes, that's who I am. Hi, everyone. I'm Sharise Moore. I am a mom, so it's not quite bedtime yet for my children. So you might see my son pop in. Hopefully, he's occupied. But yeah, I'm a mom, two wonderful children. I'm a wife. I'm also an author, a curriculum developer, and the editor of Fire magazine of Black speculative fiction. And I'm starting to preface things every interview with I'm anti-genocide, I'm anti-war, I'm anti-establishment, and I'm pro-people. And yeah, glad to be here.
Oh, thank you for coming out. She's just amazing. She and I have history from my days as a Baltimore poet, and yeah, I was running back the history as we were preparing for the show, and I'm like, wow, there's so many nuggets and things I can directly trace back to you. You're the first person that made me look at Tyler Perry in a different way, and it stuck. And it stuck. There's an amazing poem that you have that made me say, wow, Tyler really did steal all our things. We really need to reconsider. And here we are years later with productions and people picking bodies up out of caskets. Like, really, dude? Okay. All right. A small phrase you said that has had a profound effect. Um, I don't need to be entertained that bad. And it's small. But when you take it from there, it's like be amazed how you can see things without I need to be entertained. I need to laugh. No, I don't need to be entertained that bad. So I can cut off the nonsense. I don't need to ever listen to R. Kelly again. I don't need to support these entertainers if they're not serving the people and serving the public. Um, which also makes it easy in present day if you are pro genocide to pay you zero attention. Like, so I am honored and thankful that you are here. Um, we'll give you the floor first. You mentioned it, absolutely anti-genocide, anti-war, and pro-people. I'm reminded, because we both share a love for Lupe Fiasco, I'm reminded of one of my favorite Lupe songs, Words I Never Said. And he mentioned it, you know, fear is such a weak emotion, that's why I despise it. And there's so many bits and pieces to Words I Never Said. And I'm like, yeah, that's one of my Gaza Strip was getting bombed, Obama didn't say shit. And fast forward, here we are. Gaza Strip was getting bombed, Biden didn't say shit. And I'm like, wow, I hate that Lupe was still right all these years later. But but yeah, the first thing I'm looking at here, and this is an interesting thing that I came across. Chrystul Kizer. Um, This is eerie because it brings back shades of Centoya Brown. Somebody please get Kim K on the line. But in Kenosha, give you the short version. It's coming from the Wisconsin Public Radio. There's an article. She pled guilty in a Kenosha County homicide case. Essentially, the guy who trafficked her, she unalived him, and she now is taking the plea. This happened when she was 17. I will start by saying, one, this country still has a problem with how it deals with that being sexual assault, how it deals with that completely. And this is, again, this just really harkens back for me to Centoya Brown. I'm hoping this young lady gets to walk. As I read the details of it, they didn't want to take, because she was facing murder one, and that would have been life. So she pleaded out to this. And I'm like, you can't be serious. And when I saw one of the details was they couldn't prove the trafficking aspect, but there was no doubt about the SA aspect. That's interesting. So because she wasn't they couldn't prove the quote unquote trafficking piece, but she was SA'd. That is where the issue comes in. That's where the crux of this comes in. And I'm like, you cannot be serious. So because one person did it, but she wasn't taken across state, we couldn't prove was taken across state lines to let multiple people do it, and she unalived the person responsible, she was facing life. The words of Jay-Z, this can't be life. But whoever would like to jump in on this first, by all means, your thoughts.
I don't have many thoughts except for I really and truly feel for this young sister. You know, I really do, but I guess since I'm not a lawyer, you know, I'm not a I don't have any degrees in law, and I definitely don't, you know, I would never say that I'm an expert at all. But what I do know is this is an example of the need for us to dig deeper into our local politics. You know, there's a lot of talk, obviously, and rightfully so, about, you know, the presidential election, but we don't really talk enough about our local elections, which are a lot closer to home and which we can have a bit more control over because it's closer to us. So I'll probably go start talking about this in a very roundabout way, but just political education is needed. And all too often we just tell people to go vote. Don't worry about it, just go vote. And when people are there, they're totally shocked by all of the names on the ballot, you know. And it is a responsibility that I don't believe the vast majority of Americans are. I don't want to say responsibility. It's an act. It's an act that I don't think we are really, I don't want to say taking seriously, because I don't think that's fair. Because one of the things that I will say is that I will never blame the people more than I will blame the system. I will always have the back of the people. And when we look at our cities and we look at the vast majority of the American cities are in decay. You know, we're talking about vast industrial rot. We're talking about extreme disinvestment, meaning that these cities, especially a city like Baltimore, there are portions of the city that have not been touched by the city government in decades. It's clear, you know. I happen to live in a really upper middle class neighborhood that is really, you know, in itself an oasis. But you know, you drive 5 miles, 3 miles, you know, north, 5 miles south, couple miles west, and you know, it looks like we're in the middle of, I don't know, perhaps, just a place that has been abandoned by everyone. You know, um, my son was attending a summer camp, and I would always have to go down uh, North Monroe. And North Monroe in West Baltimore is just, there are entire blocks that are boarded up. There are blocks where you see half of the buildings are gone, half of the homes are gone. Some of them have trees growing out of them, Same with some portions of Edmondson, you know. And so, quite honestly, I think it's unfair to ask residents of a city, and these cities, and Baltimore is not an anomaly, you know. Baltimore, Gary, East St. Louis, all of these cities are very similar. And I would honestly, I'm comfortable in saying there are neighborhoods that look like that in Philly, all over the country. So I don't know why we are demanding that folks vote when it's been made clear that our politicians have been bought by foreign entities and by big tech. And it's clear that even when they get in, they don't do enough for their constituents. The constituents are not coming first. And what I don't ever hear from either the two major political parties is a plan for the working class, a plan for the poor. It's nowhere to be found, anywhere. But yet, we have now, circling back to this Chrystul Kizer case. I mean, these judges are on their ballots. And I remember the last time I went to vote, it might have been, was this the 2020 election? Because I know 2022, it might have been 2022. But either election, I don't remember which one. And I remember there were about 9 or 10 judges on the ballot. And I said to myself, oh my God, I did not research all of these judges. I literally did, and when they're listed, it might be 12 judges, 10 judges, and it's pick 4, pick 6, and and I have to be honest, I looked at that and I said, shit, really? I really did, because I was like, this is really important, this is really important, and then so again, this goes to voter education, and this is something that I'm working on myself. But we also have to figure out how we're going to elect people that are for the people. How in the world are we going to take back our cities? How are we going to take back our local governments and make sure that they work for us? And I think that's the bigger question, because I'm really struggling with the answer. I've been joining, I just recently joined a political organization because I know that I have to get more involved. I have to read more. I have to research more. I have to know more. And when people are asking me questions, I have to be prepared for answers. Right. So again, I think this is a local political matter that we really have to be more aware of. And honestly, the Americans are overworked, overpaid, deep in debt, and now we're asking them to research judges. We're asking them to know back and forth which judge, we should be voting for. We're asking a lot of Americans, and they know this, and they bank on the voter turnout being low.
True. And it's a very interesting thing, because like you said, you're asking people to pay super close attention who are very overworked and pretty much are going to vote for the stat quo. And as long as there's only two major parties, you're essentially in some way, shape, or form still voting for the stat quo. It's just a matter of, do you want the knife in the back or the front? But Kane, your thoughts, sir, when you saw this, because like I said, I immediately thought, oh, this is Centurion Brown all over again. And reading these details, it's like, I understand why she wouldn't want to gamble, because essentially one of the things in law is precedent. They love saying, hey, there's a precedent that's been set. There's this case from 1982 where the same thing happened. There's no precedent here. And I get how this young lady want to gamble, because just on a very basic common sense standpoint, this person assaulted me and I took them out because they assaulted me, because clearly there's a breakdown in how the law worked here. So you're sitting here on trial, facing going to jail for life for taking care of yourself, essentially. But here we are, and this goes back to local judges and who you vote for. But Kane, your thoughts, sir?
Sad. Yeah, it does bring flashbacks to the young lady you said, but it's expected. So I don't know what else you want. The system is not for us. It never will be. And it doesn't matter. Local and federal, doesn't matter. This whole thing has to go. We have to clean house. That's the only way you're going to get someone that's not bought off. Because, like you said, everyone's too overworked, tired, and got their minds on other things. Desire and fear of other stuff. Two things that are great at controlling the populace of people. So, with people occupied being scared and desire things, nothing will really change, because everyone will be too occupied to even, like y'all said, read or look into who's this, where's, follow the money, who's fundraising them, who they connected to, all that good stuff. And everybody got time for it. So until people have time or make time, you know, maybe not showing up to work like everyone, that will work, because then everything stops. And then, just like the pandemic, you got time to breathe.
That was the upside.
And when people had time to breathe, that's when people started thinking, and that's when people started figuring shit out. And that's when they said, we need to hurry this shit up, because y'all sitting here figuring shit out. So let's hurry this back up and go back to normal. And here we are, back to normal. And it's getting worse by the day.
Labor strikes. I definitely agree with that. We need a massive labor strike. We need a massive labor strike. But the people are not organized enough to enact that. So, I think that's why I think it's important for us to be joining organizations in our community, find out who is doing the work, because there are people doing the work, and we need to link up to see how we can put pressure on this system, because that's extremely important. And our labor is everything.
And that's the interesting piece here. I'm going to be really quiet, I think, on social media as far as this election cycle is concerned, because and you can attest to this as well. There's not enough, there's just not enough open-mindedness. And while I understand Project 2025 and everything that's on that end, the play hasn't changed. It's still, hey, there's the bad guy over there. You can't let the bad guy win. And the problem is, yeah, but you're not the good guys, Dems. You're not the good guys. As it stands, current day, my tax dollars are funding a genocide. You're not the good guys. And that's where the confusion lies. And I'm with you when it's like, hey, my problem with most people is vote, 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 vote. And it's hated when I said it. If all you did is vote, you didn't do much. Because grassroots organization, the Black Panther Party wasn't a political party per se. Huey and Bobby weren't politicians. You can run through the list of names that weren't politicians that got it cracking. So I hear people vote, 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 vote. But I contend, if all you did was vote, you didn't do enough. You didn't affect enough change. Because there's so much we can do if we, like you mentioned, organize. That has nothing to do, quote unquote, directly with being affiliated with a political party. You make enough noise, we decide to collectively all not go to work. Oh, they'll hear. They'll hear. You rewind time to the bus boycotts. When King and the company organized the bus boycotts, that wasn't a political movement per se. That was just everybody collectively saying, you know what, we're not gonna ride your buses now. If we can't sit where we want to sit, we're not gonna ride your buses. Look what happened. Suddenly we were heard. So
And those things took years. You know, that's not something that happened overnight. They took many, many years. You know, that's years and years and years of planning. Years and years of planning.
That's it. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, we could really theoretically, it's not going to happen. This is just, if you wanted this to end by the end of the year, it would take everyone, or at least half of the population here. But the thing is, how are you going to organize that and who's going to do it? I don't know. But like I said, it can be done. It can be damn near a bloodless revolution. Because if everyone stops or majority of people stop, nothing goes. Nothing. The whole thing just falls apart until either demands are made or new leaders are put in charge or whatever. But there's an easy way to do it, but no one's going to do it. So the hard way is, I don't know. We've been voting for how long? Black people specifically, you know, a couple of decades, whatever, and then just people in general, a couple centuries. So nothing has changed. We're voting for the same two parties. Both of them have had majority of House, and nothing's really gotten better for just citizens in general, especially us. So
let's see.
Who we gonna vote for?
You know I'm gonna challenge you on that, right?
What?
Nothing's gotten better. Last time I checked, if you check your wrists and ankles, there were no chains there, sir. Just saying. 13th Amendment. Just saying.
Right. 13th Amendment. Yeah.
That was got exception. That was voted on. All I'm saying is
right. But that had nothing to do with morality or none of that shit. That was just to, keep the country united, not divided. If Lincoln did not give up if we were slaves or not. If he could have kept the country and all that intact with slavery, he would have did that shit. I think he said it too. Like it didn't matter. I'm not reaching to the morality of people who had no problem owning people. I don't care about that. We're never going to reach their morality. So I don't even try to. But yeah, nothing's really improved. If you want to say post that, whatever, fine. That was the greatest achievement for Black people. We were not slaves. Now we just new modern slaves. Even better. Let's go. Yay. Like, come on. Ain't nothing improved for us.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But we gonna keep voting though, and hoping and praying that the one party Democrats or the Hotep, Coon Tax and motherfuckers on the red side. Either way, they both bad.
So I'm looking at, if it's not obvious, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at your generation and what comes after, because you guys are the ones that are going to make the noise. You guys are the ones that are going to make the change.
No, it's going to have to be generations after. My generation ain't doing it. The generation after me is not doing it. So it's going to have to be whoever's born now.
I mean, I see, and this is the beauty of social media. One of the beauties of social media, when you don't fall into the goofy trap. I see a lot of people your age and younger, a lot of pages that are dedicated to raising awareness and making some noise. The vast majority of pages I've come across, and maybe this is just my algorithm, the vast majority of pages I've come across that criticize both parties, that talk about the effects of genocide, they're 30 and under.
Okay. All right, let's see this. Of course, there are people in my generation, just people in your generation. I'm talking to you right now. People older than you, younger, that are about the shits. But my problem is a small minority is not good enough. That is still my generation and the generation after. We need a damn majority if you want something to really happen. And we long ways from that because distractions and entertainment still outweighs the reality. People still look to escapism. And since we still look to escapism, we will forever still be in verbal chains. We gave ourselves to slavery and we still maintain it. So
To
with
be
it do.
honest, I think that people are going to be forced to do something. This is not something that we're going to have to, make a choice. It's not going to be a choice. You know,
Mm.
for Ross and I and you, for our entire lifetime, um, Western imperialism has ruled. That is changing. That is changing. And with the United States being pushed um, to a brink, all right, and you have the emergence of BRICS, all right, that's not anything that we are going to be able to ignore. So I maintain that things will not stay the same and we will be forced to move. We will be forced to act because the empire is already crumbling. And I think that we have to be on the lookout for signs because right now this has a great veneer. It's still an outside looking in. We're still looking, at the pretty dress, but we don't see what's up underneath, And I really think that little by little, the mask is falling. You know, 10 years ago, we couldn't make these comments that we're making about the blue apartheid state. We couldn't make them. You could not say some of the things that we are able to say on social media now about that country. You could absolutely lose your job, lose everything, the end, no questions. So there is, in the last 10 months, there has been a light years of progress. Light years of progress. And I think we need to pay attention to it. So while I definitely hear what you're saying, Kane, I think that the people are going to be forced to act. We're not going to be able to sit back and let life happen to us. It's done. It's over. Because I don't know if you all have ever heard of the Imperial Boomerang, but it is a text. And they talk about all of the things that the United States, all of the terror that this government has wrought on other countries. It is destined to return. It is destined to return. And the more and more we learn about what that terror looks like, how we have toppled governments, how the United States is responsible for, I think it was maybe, I'm not going to say the exact number, because I'm not going to guess, but dozens upon dozens upon dozens of coups just since 1975. These are things that we are going to have to deal with. And as Malcolm says, chickens will always come home to roost. And unfortunately, the American public has got to be ready for that. So life isn't going to continue to happen to us. We're going to wake up and we're going to be forced awake. And I think it's going to happen definitely within our lifetime.
But I think, well, I agree. My only thing is if it comes to that point, which is looking like it's going to, it'll be too late.
We just gotta, and you and I have talked about this at length, like we as a people, not just Black people, because ultimately, while there's obviously a campaign against Black folk, there is also a wider campaign that's persists against poor people. And we're gonna have to get with people who are actual allies and figure some things out. I'm, as I always say, I'm a proud Northerner, but I recognize, look, I can't plant or grow nothing. So I'm going to have to rely on my Southern brothers and sisters to help us out on that. We are going to have to put our resources together and figure out how to get through this, because I'm not an active participant in this imperialism. I'm just here by proxy. So, but nonetheless, historically, if America's got, I forgot who coined the phrase, but America's got a cold, Black people have got the flu. So whatever happens to them when this boomerang comes back, guess who's gonna suffer the most if we ain't prepared?
Well, not, but that's my point though, because whenever we're forced to, that means at the last second, and no one will be prepared for whatever is coming. Whether it's WW3 or just the whole system just finally fucking collapses. How many people are prepared for that? No one.
I actually do think there are people prepared.
Well,
You
some. I
know,
think some malicious and stuff,
yeah,
but like as a majority,
No.
this is not just going to affect black people. It's going to affect everyone.
yeah.
So, and
It
it's going to
definitely will.
hurt.
So now's the time to get prepared. Now's the
True.
time to learn how to farm. Now's the time to learn how to, to garden. Now's the time to learn how to purify our water, to
Yeah.
start, you know, uh, exchanging and memorizing phone numbers. Those of
Oh,
us who have land, you know what I mean? How are we going to connect and contact each other if the Wi-Fi is down? If the power lines, the grid goes, how are we going to get in touch with people if there's no fuel, there's no gas,
Mhm.
how are we going to communicate? So these are things that we need to talk about, with our loved ones. Like I attempted to talk to my family about it, and most of them were not interested. But you
That's
know what?
what.
Instead of being upset that most weren't interested, I focused on the ones that are, and you start there. So the thing is, we can't allow nihilism to take over. What we
mhm.
have to do is work on who is sharing, who shares our beliefs. All right, who's in our village? Who can we talk to? Let's have some of these conversations and let's start planning. And honestly, it will grow from there. I started to join some black preppers groups. I'm not real active, but they're there because I want to have my ear to the street. My son is in a homeschooling collective, and so his teacher is like one of those preppers. She gardens, she does all of those things, and I talk to her. You know what I mean? And we have those conversations, and we're connected. So I think that it's just important to kind of grasp at the straws that are there, the people that are willing, those that are interested, those are serious, and just start having those conversations. We can't worry about who's not prepared. What we can do though is to try to get prepared ourselves.
True. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, because it's my concern, and Ken and I, you've talked about this, you and I have talked about this, is there looks like there's some pieces on the board being moved that's preparation for something. The rise of cop cities, and not just one, plural. That's an eyebrow raise. What and again, I got to look at what it is, and it's the one that we all know about is in Atlanta, where there's a whole bunch of black elites, and I'm curious, like, come on, boys and girls, y'all don't see what's going on down there?
They're a part of it. I don't. The whole black elite shit is an oxymoron to itself. But yeah,
That's what I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, what is going on in ATL? Like y'all don't see what the potential coming down the road is. Y'all so happy, the Tyler Perry's and everyone else is y'all so happy sitting where you sit that wow, okay. Like it's right there. It's not
right.
even hitting. It's right there.
And the
But
thing about the cop city in Atlanta is they've been protesting for years. Years. And I know the native brother that was actually murdered, or I can't say that, can I? Uh-oh. Unalived. Sorry.
all good.
He
I
says
hope
things
I
all the time he shouldn't say. It's all right. We good.
unalived. And y'all can go back and edit that, I think. Um, unalived, by police. This was what, January 2022, I believe.
Jeez.
And this was a peaceful protester, and he was a climate activist, and they weren't just protesting, cop city as far as, the cops. They were also protesting the fact that this was going to be on land, natural land. They were going to be using this land for this particular facility.
Which can mess up a
So
whole lot of other stuff that I've seen that can make things worse for people that live there. So yeah, it's a whole shit show. But
can
yeah.
my daughter is screaming her head off. I'm gonna go and grab her. I'll be right back, y'all.
Mhm.
Okay? I'm sorry.
Absolutely. We
All
will
right.
hang we will hang out. But yeah, this is problematic, and it's like speaking to her point. We got to start coming together with the folks who want to come together, and that's the trick. And
That's
like I said, I don't know about you. I'm not even 50 years old, and it's funny because I'm looking around me at the people in my immediate age bracket and maybe a little bit older, and they've all like I'm officially Gen X. And I do believe the baby boomers are ahead of us, and it is the scariest thing, strangest and scariest thing, listening to people my age, slightly older, all of a sudden have morphed into their parents. And it's like y'all do understand we're not done yet. We're not going to wake up tomorrow as 80. There is a lot of change that we can affect right now. We can, but I'm amazed, like I said, Ken is amazed the amount of people that are still telling you gotta go to school, gotta get your degree. Like that's not the only way. That's not the only way. I am happy, as I always tell you, I'm happy we get to do this together because look, I understand the inherent danger with raising a revolutionary person, right? But I also understand if you end up with the same mentality as Fred Hampton, there's a risk that comes with that. But I'd rather that than, and I know this is going to get me in trouble with some hip hop heads. I'd rather you have a Fred Hampton mentality than a Jay-Z mentality.
All right, I want to be a billionaire.
And I mean, like I said, I don't, and that's not a direct shot at Hove. I'm just saying, look, Jay-Z's mentality seems diametrically opposed to Fred Hampton's mentality. Fred Hampton was about the collective and about the people. I'm not saying J and B have not done great things for the black community, but if I got to pick,
It's business.
and it goes back to our last pod. And I honestly, you don't know this, but I've been trying to pick you apart. I can't. I've really been trying to find some holes in LeBron is business first, black second. Like, nah, that's not. I can't. I can't find a hole in that yet.
It's okay. Hey, it's okay to acknowledge the truth, man. Like I say he's done some great things. That does not absolve him from it. Him, LeBron, like you got school, you doing a lot of charity, all that stuff. Same with Jay and stuff. But you don't get to be a billionaire if you're not business first. You can still hold on to it for a little bit, but after a while, you're gonna start thinking like how you thinking about like the people in the rooms you trying to be in or that you in now because they already billionaires. But you're
And
gonna
this is
start
how
thinking
this,
like them.
and this is how the system self perpetuates.
Yeah,
Like it's plug and play. It doesn't
pretty
matter who
much.
sits in the seat, as long as the seat is there, somebody gonna want to sit in.
Exactly. That's why I said this system is perfect on maintaining itself.
All right,
Like you said, all this talk we're talking about prepare, talk to whoever. That's great, but as we all know, and as she mentioned, you can talk to a lot of people, but nobody got the time to do that. Where most people are in survival mode, and that is by design. If you in survival mode, you starving, you locked in a cage, and then it's a picture. It's a very powerful picture. I don't know who did it, but shout out to them. But it's a dude locked in the cage, hungry, starving, all that. There's a key to the door right there, and there's a plate of food right there, both in arm's reach. What does he reach for? The food. He can literally grab the key, walk out, grab the food, be free, have food, and have everything else. But because he's so occupied and in survival mode, your body and your mind is going to go for the thing to keep you alive, not the thing to actually free you.
because freedom, because you can't, at least you can't touch freedom. You can touch the food.
Exactly. Even though the key is right there.
Right there. And if you get free, guess what? You can get all the food you want.
But you're not going to, but then, like I said, if you're in survival mode, you're not thinking that way. You're thinking of survive, survive. This is the
Right.
state that we're in. This is why poor people in the working class is so important because we need you to one, make the system run, and then two, to be distracted so you can't change nothing and you can't prepare and you can't have these conversations because everyone's not going to have time, the mental space to do all that.
Right.
That's my problem. That's why I said I agree. We would have to start having this conversation. We would have to start preparing like right now, not at the last second, but most people it
On
will
that.
it will happen at the last second, and then at that point, it's going to be a shit show. I can
Well,
already tell. But
I mean,
hey,
I gotta go back to one of my favorite quotes. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged.
they're not. That's my
And some
point.
of them are so inured, so hopelessly dependent upon the system that they will fight to protect it.
And how many people you know fight to protect it without even knowing that they're doing it? You just
I
ask
mean,
simple questions,
shit.
and then they
How many
will.
people how many people fight to protect it and know they fighting to protect it?
That's what I said. The rep the blue or the red, and we ain't talking about Crips and Bloods. It's crazy.
And that's the I gotta get this off my chest because it has been bothering me since I sent it to you. Um, I sent you that clip from our brothers at the Joe Budden podcast, and they had a conversation. They were having a conversation about hip hop, and I was just really disappointed because what this originated from was Dr. Umar was a guest on a different show, and he was going back and forth with this dude about basically how hip hop has done more harm than good. You and I have discussed this at length off camera. I'm not sure if we touched it on camera. I
We
think we
did.
did slightly.
We did. No, we had a whole time. I remember.
Yeah, but what blows my mind is hip hop is 50 years old, right? And Dr. Umar called it. What has come from it? Has hip hop moved us as a people, as a culture forward? To me, the answer, without even just on a cursory level, the answer is a resounding no.
We got
As
billions, bro.
it is individualism, it is hypermaterialism,
Yep.
but as a whole, KRS One had the culture school, but as a whole, hip hop has done more harm than good. And I get that's no, that's not really the hot take that people think it is when you start looking at it. Because I'm not 50, I'm almost 50, I'm not 50, but I've seen how hip hop has changed. And to this day, present day, when I listen to, I hate to do it, but it's an easy target. When I look at Sexy Red,
That's
you can't rap. Like you really can't rap. Let's
no,
be real, you can't rap. Like you're not good at it.
no.
And then your entire brand it leaves a lot to be desired. I'm not gonna do respectability politics. I'm just leaves a lot to be desired. And I'm like, when I come across young brothers, what is the soundtrack to their destruction? They ain't playing death metal. They ain't playing Usher. Like the soundtrack of the streets is hip hop. And when you look at it in its totality, it has produced it reminds me of Du Bois' Talented Tenth in a warped way. A few people, some of the cream has risen, but overall, the notion of the hood, the hood, where'd that come from?
Like I said, the biggest thing that makes hip hop a major L is that we don't even own it.
Oh, some
But if
people
we
do.
owned it and we did this shit, then it could change. But we don't even own the shit. So that's the biggest damning thing out of the whole thing.
I mean, but well, hold on. Because I'll be honest, I don't know if that's a true statement. Labels, this isn't Def Jam, Rock is. I don't know if there's still major labels anymore.
There
And I
is.
get what you're saying. You don't own it. We don't own it. But
We
how
don't.
do you get hot? How do you get hot? You rap. You go to your man's house. They give you a beat. You upload the beat. I mean, you upload the track. Like, so that's yours. What you record, what you upload, that's yours. That's on your page. That's on your SoundCloud. That is yours.
Mm-hmm. Now, but even now, labels still have a big hand to play. And then there's other avenues in politics you still have to do, even if you are. And we don't own that either. We don't own the streaming services. We don't own all this, that, and the third.
It's
So
true.
it's like, so
We do
even
own
if
title.
what? Go ahead.
Jay-Z does own title. That
No,
is
Tidal
Jay-Z
is
does
gone.
not own
It's
Tidal
gone. He
anymore.
sold that.
No, yeah, he sold that a long time ago, and he was never a majority owner of Tidal.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't own shit.
He was
Oh,
never a majority owner of Tidal.
That's my point. Even like I said, even with the whole label, even though I'm plenty most of the mainstream artists, are signed to labels, we don't own the streaming companies. No. We don't own nothing. So since we don't own nothing of this multi-billion and probably made trillions of dollars since its existence, and what we got to show for it is what, 3 or 4 billionaires? At what cost? What did Gamora say? What did it cost to have 4 billionaires? What did it cost for all of us?
And we haven't owned hip hop in a very, 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 very long time.
What I'm saying.
I mean, even if you look back, I don't know. I mean, when was the last time we really owned it?
I don't think we ever did.
I don't. Yeah, it's been a really long time. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep my daughter quiet. That's why I've been on mute. But yeah, like it's been really been a long time. I think. And when I say, I hate to be like this, but I don't consider Sexy Red to be hip hop. So I mean, so what's this conversation? Are we talking about rap, or are we talking about the culture? And I also, oh gosh, give me a moment.
No problem. But yeah, you have a point. So I stand corrected. Jay-Z doesn't own Tidal. Okay, so yeah, there's the vehicles. We don't own the streaming services. We don't own the social media. We don't own the labels. We don't own the social media platforms. There might be a guy with Israeli connections running things, if you get where I'm going there, because that got Kanye in hot water, so I don't want to say the same things. But
it's true. But that's facts though. So you can actually look that up. So that's facts.
Yeah, I never had a distribution.
That's facts. Like we ain't tiptoeing shit. That's facts. So like I said, you can look it up. So yeah, we don't own shit. I don't even have to say who owns it. You already know. We don't own nothing.
Yeah, distribution we've never owned. Yeah, there's just very few things, tangible things that we own collectively. And even when I say we, I don't know who this we is. Sometimes I'm a little bit, I don't know, because blackness is no longer enough. I'm starting to just look at. I am embracing globalism. I'm having conversations with different people, of different backgrounds, different walks of life, and I'm really inspired by one of my biggest inspirations ever is Fred Hampton. What Fred was able to do with his Rainbow Coalition is unspeakably just incredible, and he sought to bring together people of all walks of life, just, the Chicanos in Chicago, the white folks, black folks, and he was successful at it. And let's not forget that Fred was 21 when he passed away. Can you imagine?
Right.
21. That's criminal.
Genius.
It's absolutely criminal. And I also, now that I'm mentioning the Panthers, I wanted to go back, Ross, because you were saying that Huey and Bobby weren't politicians, but later on, Bobby and Elaine Brown actually ran for office in Oakland. I don't know if you were aware of that. They did not win, but they did run for political office. They did run for office in Oakland in the 1970s, the mid 70s. So they were really trying different ways because, of course, the Panthers were constantly under attack. They were under such attack that we couldn't even wrap our minds around the types of attacks that they endured. But But they were constantly pivoting. Huey was pivoting. It's like, okay, we're gonna pivot to these survival programs. Now we're gonna pivot to, of course, Huey's in exile, and then Elaine is running the party. She's chairwoman for a few years, I believe, or was it 1 year? I have to look that up again. I don't want to misspeak, but she's chairwoman, and then they're trying to pivot again. So okay, maybe we need to move into, trying to move into local politics. So they were always pivoting to gain liberation for all people, and it wasn't just black folks. It was for all people, and of course, as a black woman, I'm going to center us, but I do think it's important that we move away from just focusing on black folks, because you know
Because the
we gotta
reality
all be
is,
free.
yeah, because white supremacy is the enemy of all. That's the thing. White supremacy is the enemy of all. American imperialism is the enemy of all. We have brothers and sisters going through it in Palestine,
Right.
in Sudan, in
Correct.
everywhere. So it only makes sense. Like, that's why we replaced the term minority with members of the global majority, because realistically, that's what we are.
Right.
We're humans,
So yeah,
we're people. That's what we are. Like I said, this race stuff is a distraction from what y'all said, the class. Because it doesn't matter. White, black, Hispanic, straight, gay, all that. If you still poor, you still poor. It doesn't matter.
And this
That
goes back to, again, Malcolm and Huey, they were visiting occupied Palestine in the 60s. You
mhm.
know, I saw someone ask on a thread, well, what have Palestinians ever done for black folks? And I'm like, come on, we're not doing this.
Right? Are we
Let's
really
not
doing
do
that?
this. And it's just like, I think, well, I have a good friend who is Palestinian. Her mother, and I won't say her mother, but her father literally was in the first Nakba in 1948. Her father. So she is second generation Palestinian, daughter of Palestinian refugees. And she has done a tremendous job of just educating me, sending me books, sending me, resources to find things out on my own. And one of the things that I found out was I had no idea that there were different groups of Jewish people. I just, I'm growing up, I'm thinking, Jewish people, Jewish people, Jewish people, Jewish people. I had no idea there were Mizrahi and,
Yeah,
Ashkenazi, and,
this ain't the
they're
Christians.
different,
Yeah.
different groups. And
yeah.
so
I
one
thought
thing
just Orthodox Jews and Seinfeld, but yeah.
that I had no idea, and Sephardic, that's another one. And so the Arab Jews, uh, after in 19, after occupied Palestine is created in 1948, um, the Arab Jews began to experience oppression from the individuals who had since moved, and relocated to Israel, what has been uh, termed Israel. And do you know that in the 1970s, they looked to the Panthers in the United States and they formed their own Black Panther Party?
Wow, I did not. I did
And
not
I
know.
just found this out, and there's an entire article about it. And these were Arab Jews who were tired of being oppressed in occupied Palestine. And so
Mm.
this is what they did. They took cues from the Black Panther Party in the States. Not to mention, I was shocked when I found out, like, all of these different places that Huey and Malcolm had visited, the Red Crescent, right? These are places I find out in November and December that they were bombed, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is where Malcolm visited. Oh my gosh, there was an actual exhibit, a George Jackson exhibit that was on display in occupied Palestine just a few years ago. And it was
Wow.
inspired by George Jackson. In George Jackson's cell, he was inspired. This is George. He was inspired by the poetry of a Palestinian poet. So the links between our people run decades deep, and we just aren't unaware. A lot of this has just been purged. So it's also up to us to learn about it, to read about it, and understand. And also, of course, Mandela. Mandela was 10 toes down for the Palestinian people. They recognized, they knew what apartheid was because they saw it in South Africa. So they saw it with South Africa, and they made the connection in occupied Palestine. So,
Wow.
these are just things that it's our responsibility to learn and to unearth, and then that also makes it easier for us to develop these ties because it's just like, oh no, you the homie. We've been fighting together. You know what I mean? We've been doing this.
The degrees of separation are not as vast as we would think. So you can't say, well, what does Palestine do with me? Everything. Their liberation is connected to ours, is connected to Sudan, is connected to the Congo, like everything. And again, even if you don't believe it, you got to understand white supremacy is the enemy of all. Like it's really, really that simple. Speaking of white supremacy, because we detoured a little bit, and that's totally okay. Came across this tweet, this article, and I was like, wow. So there is an FBI informant, former FBI informant, Army sniper, Joe Moore, reveals that the KKK had a
No
plan.
relation, Joe Moore.
Yeah, no. He's a little melanin deficient. There was a plot by the KKK to unalive Barack Obama in 2008 when he was still a senator. There's a lot interesting about that. Like, one, so did they see what the hero arc, for lack of a better term, for Obama was going to be? Like, he was just the senator at the time. But yeah, there was actually a plot to take out Obama before he was president. And this whole thing was foiled by Moore. Looks like 4 KKK members were plotting another unaliving, and they got arrested and convicted in 2017. Now, Moore is in an undisclosed location. He does have a memoir called White Robes and Broken Badges. He also exposed that, oh my gosh, there's a bunch of KKK members and law enforcement. What a shock. What a shock.
Not just there.
Wow. And I'm just, the part that is shocking to me, all jokes aside, part that is kind of shocking is that way back when in 2008, there was concerns like, hey, a black president might face some serious assassination attempts. And no, as far as we know, he didn't. In fact, ironically, the only assassination attempt on record was a couple months ago. But this is shocking because yes, there actually was a plot to try to take out Obama.
Why is that shocking?
I'm trying to find a real interesting way to phrase this. What? Okay, so now it's time to piss some people off. Obama was still part of the machine. He was still part of the machine. If you were white and racist, what did you have to fear? The machine was designed by who? White racist folks. Obama is still in that machine.
He's not one of us.
And at what point in time have you ever seen this machine not still look out for your best white racist interests? When has it ever happened? It hasn't.
Okay, that's one. That's a lie. They don't look out for white interests. They look out for elites. But two, because the majority of white people poor too, just like us. But two, yeah, he don't look like them. There's a difference. It don't matter. You can be a good old boy. You still don't look like me. They don't care about that.
I mean,
they care about the face. The face of our country was a quote unquote black man for 4 years. That's a problem for them.
To our knowledge, there's never been an attempt on Clarence Thomas. Anyone wonder why? So I'm like, were y'all that bothered that this biracial black presenting person was going to sit in the presidential seat?
Yes.
Which leads me to the other question. Is there another undercover plot right now to take out Kamala that we're not aware of?
Probably. Wouldn't
I
shock me.
doubt. I doubt.
I mean, because now you got a quote unquote black woman as president now, or potentially. So
I
now it's
mean,
like
wait.
we went from one way to now they didn't even get the white woman in. So we all get a quote unquote black woman in there, a woman that is black. What? Oh my God, there's gonna be
I
some shit.
yeah, I just don't. I'm shocked that there. Like I said, I'm kind of shocked that there was a plot because again, Obama's still a product of the machine. It wasn't like he was going to wake up and decide, "Hey, I'm really going to do something for Black folk. Hey, let's really brand you guys as a terrorist organization." Blah blah blah. Sorry, I never got that feel ever.
That's you. You're not a racist white dude. What? Okay, you got to stop thinking like you and start thinking like other people. That's your problem. Why you be surprised all the time? This is why, goodness gracious, keep your head on the swivel, my boy. Pay
I,
attention.
yeah, I also think that it has to do with not the fact that he was black, but think about some of the policies of the Democrats over the last 30 years. All right. So when we think about the last 30 years, that's covering Clinton and that's covering Obama. We have 8 years of Clinton and 8 years of Obama since 1992,
Yep.
right? And 4 years of Biden. So in those years, we have NAFTA, right? And what does NAFTA do? NAFTA totally removes the manufacturing and industrial sector of the United States. And it literally ships jobs overseas. And who has most of those jobs? We're talking about working class white folks and working class black folks as well. So I don't think that it really has a lot to do with the fact that he was black. Well, it does. Let me not say it doesn't have a lot to do. I'm misspeaking here. But I also think it has to do with economic policy. We have economic policy here that we really need to consider. And all of this gives rise to the Tea Party, and it gives rise to a lot of resentment, because I really believe also um, just the Democrats have really been a party of war. They have become a party of war in the last 12 years. It's really something to behold. All of the wars that either by proxy or either we were defending, we're footing the bill for the United States government. So those are things to really think about as well. So I think economics, and you have a lot of folks who lost their homes, a lot of folks who've lost their jobs, and many of them blame the Democrats for that.
As per usual. As per usual. But yeah, it was kind of shocking that some parts were shocking, some parts weren't. Lo and behold, there are Klan members in law enforcement. Oh wow, what
Oink, oink.
yawn? Right, yawn. Like I'm like I'm just curious who's got a black robe on the bench that also has a white robe in their closet. That's
Them
concerning.
too. They're not our politicians. They don't stop there. Like we all know this. This is nothing new. So where's the news coming from? Where's the new stuff? We need some new things.
I mean, the fact that they was really gonna try to bro, you trying to off a president? Like you really gonna try to assassinate a
That's
senator?
America, baby. That's how I know it.
That's if that ain't Stringer Bell and Clay Davis, like you trying to you trying oh yes, it all circles back to the wire. You trying to off a senator?
And
Clay
what does
Davis.
and what does it say that American politics are so insane that we just had a live attempted assassination on a candidate and no one is even talking about it anymore. It's
Hey,
almost
move
like
on.
it didn't even happen.
Because he didn't die.
It's unreal. It's unreal. I'm just so much has happened in the last 6 weeks. I mean, I can barely keep up. Every day is something new. I've never experienced anything like this in my
No,
life.
Life in
No,
marvelous
It
times.
is. It's unbelievable. It really is. Speaking of assassination attempts.
and I'm just like, well, now I gotta wonder if y'all was gonna do all that for Obama. Is it some nasties plotting something against Kamala? That at this point, nothing would surprise me. At this point, nothing will surprise me because yeah.
I don't.
Welcome.
I don't. Again, I mean that's also assuming that assuming she's going to make it to the White House because I mean I don't know. I don't know, and this has so many shades of Hillary in 2016. In
Mm,
2016, Hillary supposedly had all the backing, and it was loud, and oh yeah, she's got millions of people, and I told my mom, I don't think Hillary's going to win.
Yeah, I knew Trump was gonna win. I knew
And
Trump
my
was gonna
yeah, I
win.
did too, and my mom
Yeah,
did not believe me. There were very few people that believed me, and I was like,
I knew.
I don't think this is going to happen.
It's not.
And again, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, nor do I have a dog in the fight. You know,
right.
I'm independent, and I'll be voting for a third party candidate. As I have been since 2016. I left the Democrats in 2012. You
Mhm.
know, and I used to vote for independents and a smattering of Dems, and now even that's gone. The way that my senators and my congressmen have ignored me after sending dozens of emails. They're not getting my votes either.
No,
So you all hear this head, knees, and head, shoulders, ears, and toes in the background, right? I'm sorry. She pressed the
that's
button and
not.
it just won't stop.
All
Anyway.
right. I mean, I'll admit to it. I famously said once Trump and Hillary won the nominations, I said we won't even need to count California's votes. It will be a complete blowout. And boy, so much so I went to sleep. I was like, oh, ain't no point. I'm going to sleep. And you talked about assaulting a woman, like, oh yeah, we're done here. Imagine my feeling. I woke up the next day, like, wait, what? Wait, what? What? I will go on record and reiterate that sentiment. I don't think this is going to be but so close. I don't. It's Joe stepping down, re-energize that party. Um, it's amazing. I was talking to someone about this. It is amazing the energy in the air difference of 8 years ago. It feels different. And I'm going to borrow a term from the Republicans. Everything's a lot more woke now, and no one wants to say anything outwardly against a black person and a woman, let alone a black woman.
That's a
So,
lie.
I mean, who's the goofballs yelling into an echo chamber now? Like, I'm not denying this. Folks saying
Everyone on the
something.
other side. What
Yeah, it just looks stupid now.
does it?
Like, yeah,
The
and
Dems
and
got
stuff.
filters in their closet that, like I said, no, this is a lose-lose situation. So everyone looks stupid. So it doesn't matter.
I mean, I'll tell you this: they've already made yet another tactical error. They've agreed to debate Kamala. I'm like, dog, she's a lawyer, she's a prosecutor. You about to get your ass ate all the way up. This is a bad move.
He
This is
got killed
this
by Hillary. It,
right. This
but
this,
he
this
still
is this
won.
is this is Drake deciding to go against Kendrick. Like, do not engage. Do not engage.
We also
You were
have to
about
remember, though, there's a really large uncommitted movement. And there were also some really tactical errors that were made at the DNC and not allowing, you know, first of all, the party has abandoned uh, abolishing the death penalty. It's no longer even there, party platform. It's completely abandoned it. And they refuse to allow a speech, a very extremely benign speech that would have endorsed Kamala for president by a Palestinian American on the stage. I don't know how she wins Michigan. And there hasn't been a president since I think the 70s, a Democrat, that has won the presidency without Michigan. So this is going to be interesting to see. I don't know, and I can't tell Palestinians, and nor would I ever want to tell them how to vote. But I actually think that you're going to see a groundswell of independent voters. You're
About to
going to,
say,
I think Jill Stein is going to get a ton of support because of all the third party candidates. I believe she's on the ballot in more states than anyone else. But I think you're going to see more support for the Greens than we have, than probably the most support since Ralph Nader. And Ralph
yep.
Nader is the last third party candidate to really make a dent in the duopoly.
Mm-hmm. And RFK Jr., he was talking that talk for a hot minute, and then he jumped over yonder. Like, come on, bro. Because we talked about this on the pod. Like RFK Jr. for a hot second was saying some things that'll get you, it end up like his pops. But all of a sudden he decided to hop over there. Like, really? That
It's a
okay.
lose-lose, man.
Yeah, and he's also endorsed Trump. So,
That's what I'm
that's what
like.
you meant. Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
I'm
endorsed
like,
Trump. And
really?
so, I mean, now we have to look at where will RFK supporters go, especially because he's taken his name off of the ballot in the swing states. So I guess what are our swing states? Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida. Those are our swing states. Of course, I'm missing several. Michigan. But those particular states, I have to see how they vote. And I don't know what people are going to do. And people talk a good game. But
Mm-hmm.
in the end, when you're in that voting booth, you're alone. You're by yourself.
Yeah,
We
I
don't
just
know how people are going to vote, and nor do we know who's pulling the strings. That's another thing I start to question. Like I try not to get into these theoretical conversations, but I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that all of this isn't a ruse. I wouldn't put it past the government. This is we're talking about an astonishingly diabolical system. Like we can't even wrap around our minds around how much money is involved, how much control, how much power there is.
mm-hmm.
So, I would never tell anyone not to vote, but I'm always skeptical about what's in front of me. I'm always going to be asking questions because I don't know.
Right.
Diabolically genius, like I said. And it is a scam because, like I said, you got two options and they both bad. So it's just a matter of which one you want to die from. You want the knife or the gun? Which one you want?
I mean, and I'm curious because I haven't heard much noise out of Brother West. I was really looking to see if Dr. Cornel West was going to make some serious noise too, but I haven't heard much from him leading up to now. I know it was a long shot anyway, but I just haven't heard any noise at all from Brother West. But yeah, this
Well,
was this was interesting.
Cornel West made some really, I don't know. I'm really disappointed in him because he was initially supposedly running on the Green Party ticket. I don't know if you knew
Okay,
that,
I didn't
but
know that.
yes, yeah, he was running as a Green initially, and then he backtracked and said that he didn't want to be affiliated with the Green Party. There was an issue of control, and he had some other issues, and so he pulled out, started to push his own. Hey! Get that out your mouth, my daughter. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. That. Come here. This little girl trying to eat a dime. Come here. Come
Oh
here.
no.
Right, exactly. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Here. All right. Anyway, so that was his initial, idea, and I was actually, really interested, and I was like, okay, all right, because I have a tremendous amount of respect for Dr. West, absolutely. But then when he abandoned the Greens, I was like, what is going on right now? And then, he doesn't have as much access. He's not on the ballot. He's not on the ballot here in Maryland. They were trying to get him kicked off the ballot in North Carolina. I don't know if he prevailed or not. So he's on the ballot in very few states. And that's one thing about the Green Party, at least Jill Stein, Dr. Stein is on the ballot in 35 states and counting. You know,
Okay.
so that was the issue with Dr. West. He just made another choice, and also Jill Stein's um, running mate is a guy I really like. His name is Professor Butch Ware, and he
Okay.
is a black Muslim man, and he's also a professor. Where is he a professor? Is it Cal? It's either Cal or it might be USC. So he's great. I follow him on Instagram. Really like Dr. Ware a lot.
Okay. I got to get that follow. That's what's up. So funny we mentioned politics and parties and things that people do. I found this. I don't know how deep the rabbit hole is going to go on this one, but it's just I found an interesting thing. So Brittany Mahomes. Oh boy. Brittany Mahomes is getting roasted because she went ahead and liked a Trump post. And you know, nothing you do on the internet ever goes away. But this gets interesting because Brittany Mahomes, of course, is married to my boy Patty Melt, as I call him, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is now, of course, teammates with Travis Kelce. And Travis Kelce is dating a huge anti-Trumper and Taylor Swift. Oh boy, there's a lot of semi-moving parts there because that's just interesting, and it's the interracial piece, and then there's Taylor Swift piece, and I'm the one part about this that's just completely shocking is you'd really think the wife of Patrick Mahomes would know better. Because people all forgot. And for the record, I still don't fully follow the NFL. I just after what happened to Cap, I can't. But everyone really forgot really quickly when Tom Brady was called out about having a MAGA hat in his locker. That joint disappeared, and everyone completely forgot about it within a couple months. But come on, Brett, really, Brett, you're married to Patrick Mahomes. You didn't think no one was going to see the light. You thought no one was going to see the light. And I'm like, she has been getting roasted. And then she borderline doubled down and was like, people can be such haters, essentially. And I'm like, oh,
Why do we
you don't want to be
care?
Patrick
Why
Mahomes.
do
You
we
don't want to
care?
be Patrick Mahomes.
Why do we care? Why is this even a subject? Why I don't care. This is good for her. Good for Patty Bell. Good for everybody. And we forgot about Robert Kraft too and his creepy ass. We forgot
Wait,
about that. That went
wait,
under the rug.
you
That's the
got me.
big problem.
What did you ever do? The massage?
Yeah, some deep shit. Yeah, but that just went straight under the rug. And he wasn't the only one.
And
He a
yeah, with
fan.
Robert Kraft, not only that, he is, oh gosh, he's extraordinarily pro-Israel. Extraordinarily pro-Israel. He actually
Ain't he
dumped.
Jewish?
He is, yes.
There you go.
But no. But not all Jewish
No,
people
I
are
get it.
pro-Israel.
Okay.
So, but I just definitely want to make that distinction because there's so many antis. Gosh, there's some things
Anti-Zionist.
that you
Yeah.
can't say anymore. You're not supposed.
Uh,
You're not supposed to say that anymore. At least not as a slur. There are so many that are not, in agreement with what the country is doing right
I
now, their
agree.
government.
Yeah.
But yeah, he dumped a lot of money into ads,
I did not know that.
and yeah, and he also withdrew his some funding from Harvard as well. 'Cause he was a huge donor, and he withdrew his donations to
He's
Harvard.
in
So
business. Like I say, he's Jewish and in business with everything that goes around. Not all Jewish people are involved or with the shits because there's people marching the same way as white people marching with us. But yeah, Robert Kraft. All that got swept under the rug. Like I said, I don't care if Brady had a red hat. Whatever. That's everyone's gonna have a political opinion, whether that's on them. I don't care.
Wait,
But
hold on. You gotta see where that's problematic though.
where's the problematic?
If you Okay, so we all know in football, the quarterback is the most important person on the team.
Sure.
The league itself is 75% black. That's one.
Okay.
Two, Your teammates, the people you're throwing passes to, are more than likely also black. I get it, Julian Edelman, a couple of little exceptions, but by and large, your teammates are also black. So it looks away when you're sitting with a MAGA hat in your locker.
You don't
Looks
think
away.
there's not racist people on them teams? I'm not calling this is not me calling Brady racist. I'm just saying, you don't think it's people that rock the red and rep it on them teams? They don't give a fuck. They here to play football, make their millions, and go home, and hopefully not be a menace to society at the process. So yeah, CTE. But yeah, we we just we have someone that plays sports on teams before. Obviously not professional and all that, but motherfuckers do not care about your personal life, to be honest. We just think we here, like when we in here, we get dressed for all that. We a team, we won. We do everything, and then when it's done, it's done. Not every team is close knit and do all that. Like, nah, we come together, complete to do a mission, complete the mission, and go home. I don't know why this is a big deal.
Because Randy Moss did his Hall of Fame speech with a tie on, if I'm not mistaken, of individuals slain by police. That don't jive well when your teammate is MAGA. See what I'm saying?
Doesn't matter. Like it's everyone's going to have an opinion and who they side with. It's either one or the other. You're not any better than on the other side. So it's like I don't care about your political views. It's all bullshit anyway. So what does it matter? Everyone is not going to agree. And it's been made obviously clear. No matter how stupid or smart it is, people are going to be different and have different views on things and how things should be done. A lot of stuff in life is subjective. So yeah, I don't care if that's what he believes and that's on him. What does that got to do with me?
Hmm. Okay. Because while you were saying that, I was thinking, how do we bring that home? And I'm trying to think. I was thinking in my head, which one is worse, a MAGA hat or a back to blue hat, or a back to blue
What's
sticker?
the
And
difference?
honestly, I think they're both equal because ultimately, what you're saying, without directly saying to me, is your life doesn't matter but so much. That's why it matters. I can't go out here and catch passes and make you look good as a quarterback when I know deep down, fundamentally, my life doesn't matter but so much to you. And I think this is where Brittany Mahomes is making she's made a huge mistake. Because just look, like I said, look at the connections. So your husband is Patrick Mahomes. His closest homeboy is Travis Kelce, who is currently dating Taylor Swift, who was taking a bold, open stance against all things MAGA. And even as a black man, like, so how can you align yourself with someone who doesn't think my life matters but so much?
Because he
Like, how?
did. He did. Now what? Like, we do it. I put that. Like, how could you? He already did, and he's backed her up, and stayed 10 toes down with her. And it's
So
going to change. Why do
okay,
we care? It's
so let's make
gossip
it
shit.
real. So let's make it real quick then, because I get what you're saying. Let's make it real quick. So if the girl you dating likes a Trump post, what you gonna do?
That wouldn't be possible. We wouldn't even be in this situation. See, that's the difference between me and him. I wouldn't be in that situation. I would, hey, like I said, I take his money though. But other than that, hey, his life choices would not be the same life choices I be. But so that wouldn't be a problem.
You ducking out. You ducking out.
I'm
But
not
okay,
ducking.
if the person, no, not even dating, the person you're married to likes a Trump post such as that, what do you do? What's your next course of action?
How do you, for one, how would you not know this before you even sign the dotted line? That would come out. You don't hide that shit. Especially people on that side, they make it known. So If I got to that point, at that point, I wouldn't care because I already knew. But it's not going to get to that point. That's what I'm saying. He married, had a kid. He's been with her for a minute. I'm sure he knows her views. No, this is why I'm saying why are we care? If he don't care, why do we care?
We don't know if he cares.
Dude, he stands by her. And there's a clip going around. She asked it was a couple interview. Asked her what his favorite food was, and she said fried chicken. He don't give a fuck. He should have left right there. But no, he didn't. He stayed 10 toes down. He does not care. He don't care. Why do we care?
There's also this assumption that because we are really passionate about, political views and humanity, etc., there's this belief that others are.
They're not.
And they're not. There's so many. I remember, first of all, I grew up in this white, a town that was 90% white, in South Jersey, right? And I was always the only black girl in my class, only black person in my class, often. And I would talk about the racism, and child, a lot of the black folks around me didn't want me to talk about it. They would get mad at me. Why she being a troublemaker? Shut up. Why she always got something to say? She angry. She's making it up. So we just have this belief that everyone thinks like us. They just do not. And a lot of those athletes, they don't care. They only care about their checks.
Exactly.
They do not care. They could give a holy hell damn.
And I know what you're about to say. You about to say, well, Cap, right. LeBron,
they don't
I know
care.
What you're about to say. That is the minority. Majority of these mother do not care.
They do not. And listen, I had a conversation at Ross knows. My cousin was an NBA player for 15 years. And he tells me still to this day, he has stories about how little many of his teammates read, how little they knew about history. He was always being taken aside and asked questions. Like whenever they were inquisitive about something, whenever something was happening, they would take him aside and say, hey, D, what do we do here? What do we do there? Like, when the whole thing with Donald Sterling was going on, they went to him and asked him, what should we do? How should we handle this? The situation with the pandemic, remember? And remember they were in the bubble? And then they were contemplating not playing in the bubble at all. They all went to him and asked him, what should they do? And he actually was like, y'all shouldn't play. And guess what? Then they went to President Obama and he overrided him. So, I mean, like, it is really important to understand, like, a lot of these guys are clueless. They don't, and I'm not going to say that they're not bright. They know what they know. And it's not this. You know what I mean? And I'm still hearing, a bunch of black folks talking about, well, race doesn't matter. I hear all kinds of things. Everybody just doesn't have the passion that we have, and I've accepted it. I just try to find my tribe of people that do care.
Amen. That's what I'm trying to tell him. He won't accept it. I don't know why.
Because it's gonna be, oh gosh, there's only one way to use the term. I go back to the late great Paul Mooney. You gonna have your nigga moment if you ain't careful. You gonna have a moment where you get reminded, oh no, you not one of us, homie. You one of them. So, and that's obvious. We've seen it time and time again. Kanye West had his nigga moment. We see it time and time again where you get reminded. No. Like the only person I can think of that has not had their quote unquote nigga moment is probably Hove. Like I can't think of an instance where Jay-Z has had his nigga moment because I don't know at this juncture. Like I said, I don't know if you can. When you openly say I got five passports, I ain't never going to jail. asylum can be purchased, and you're pretty much saying out and out, like, I'm untouchable, and you don't get humbled, I don't think Hove can have a nigga moment.
Yes,
But
he
by
can.
and
When he gets
large,
exposed, he will. But yeah, but honestly, one, he's a pawn. So I don't, and like you said, Obama being a part of the system, so is Jay. Like I said, he's business first, but that business part is another keyword for I align with this shit. I am a cod of this shit, which means I am a symbol of this shit to get everyone below you that looks up to you, which is us, to follow in his footsteps, or at least try to. And most of you will fail, and some of you will succeed. But either way, the system keeps going. So yeah, no. Jay, his nigga moment is coming. It almost came with that stabbing shit, but it didn't. So I guess that saved him. But other than that, hey, it's coming down the pipe. Like I said, that Diddy thing, whenever they decide to drop the bomb, it's gonna be a whole lot of people getting collateral because of that shit. But yeah.
And you know what? It may not. It may not come.
Oh, it's coming.
And you know what? And if it doesn't come, that's okay too. I mean, honestly, I don't think I need for all black folks to have that moment. I don't. Like whatever happens to other people, I don't predicate my feelings and my politics and my beliefs, my ideology on how other folks react to what happens to them.
Truth.
So like I don't need them to wake up. I don't need any of that. The only thing I need to do is find my people.
There you go. Trying to tell him, join the club, my brother. Join the club.
I'm just trying to let certain folk know in the ways that we can that this ain't gonna go the way you think. You think you over there with them, you're really not. You're really not. You need to be on this side of the fence.
Well, until then, I'm with them. See, there you go. Ain't nothing. See, you talk about something about the future. Ain't nobody care about that when you living like that. You worry about now. You living life, living like Larry, man. Ain't worry about the future, because when the future comes, hey, it is what it is. I got to enjoy my time in luxury, Yeah.
Y'all, it's been amazing. I have to go. My daughter's diaper looks disgusting, even though I changed it. She has just blown through her diaper.
God. Okay.
But I appreciate being here. Thank you so much. I hope I added something to the conversation. It was great meeting you, Kane. I enjoyed your insight. So thank you so much for having me, Ross. It's great to see you well and doing good and healthy. I'm really excited to see you.
All right. I'll get this to you tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming.
Bye.
Hey. Bye.
Thank you. Be safe.
You too. Take care, y'all.
Bye-bye.
So what were we talking about?
No, we still rocking. We still rock out.
I know. I'm saying, what were we talking about?
Oh, okay. Well, the next thing up was actually our interesting little great debaters, because we started offline. I figured to bring it here. So long and short, I was sent this clip and it is wild. So we all know Chris Hansen to Catch a Predator, and those exchanges always go really, really smooth, really, really smooth, right? I've always wondered, does Chris have law enforcement there with him, or are they in the back? Like, how does that go?
He do.
Okay. So I still got to figure out the backstory, but there's this group of folks pretty much on some To Catch a Predator type shit. They're setting cats up, and they are meeting them and dishing out some street justice. Like they are slumping these cats, kicking them in the ass. It is what you would do to a predator, absent of law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that, because at the end of the day, all you gotta do is not be a predator, and you don't got these problems.
Mm-hmm.
I see no problem here. I mean, I thought about what you said, but am I is this a form of street justice? Is this a form of street vigilante? Yeah, but shit, Batman did it. Nobody got mad at Batman.
Everybody got mad at Batman. Go ahead.
Because it's like it reminded me of the beginning of Dark Knight. We're just trying to help. I don't need your help. What makes you better? What makes you different? What makes you so better than us?
Now,
I'm not wearing hockey pads. I'm not wearing hockey pads.
I'm a billionaire too. They add that part back. But yeah.
Uh, but you said you saw a problem with this? I don't see a problem with this.
Yeah, the problem is, like I said, trust us, you're not defending. One, you got to prove that they predators. That's one thing. Two, you just pretty much, and I'm not a law guy, but you just filmed you doing aggravated assault or some form of assault. So your ass can go to jail just for doing that whole quote street justice. And two, and then the last one, the most important one, you don't know what type of person this is. All it takes for them to crash out. Because if you quote unquote walk up on them with a camera, smack them around, expose them, yada yada. If they packing something or they just crash out because like, all right, I've been exposed. Pretty much, if you get labeled with that, your life is damn near old. So if your life is old, I could just crash out, just start ending people. This is how you can start mass shootings unnecessarily. I'm not saying it can happen, it will happen. I'm just saying it definitely can. And there has been videos. I don't know if you've seen. Someone did pull up on them. Like they smacked him. The dude he pulled some in the store. Imagine if he was out of his mind, just started blasting all around. So now you endanger not only yourself, you endanger everybody around you that had nothing to do with this. You're trying to be a vigilante, but like I said, I don't know if you've seen all the videos. My only issue is, like I said, one, you gotta prove that completely that they are. Two, you don't know what, just like any normal person, like you don't know these people. You don't know what they were willing to do if you push them to that point. And that can endanger everyone else. They got nothing to do with this. And those bodies will be on your head because you started this shit. Because no one would have known, but you want to play Batman and have them do some weird fetish shit that I swear some of them are living out their fantasies. I don't know. You might be in the closet. You just might need to open it. But because some of the stuff they have for some of them do is, I don't know. Seems like some fetishes you trying to live out in the name of justice. But yeah, there is some issues with it. Like I said, I have no problem with predators getting beat down. That I have no issue with. But if
I,
you go about it this way and unfortunately not involve the pigs, or at least have their backing, not only are you endangering yourself, you're endangering people around you. And then you might also catch a charge.
okay, so
You damn
two
someone be in prison. For what?
two issues, one small, one large. First small issue goes to what you just said. Listen, clearly none of y'all listen to Young MA. No face, no case. Tie the bandana back.
They
Easy.
show their face. They all
That's my problem.
they
That's my
all show
problem.
that they're streaming the shit. This is all for
Exactly.
views. This is rage bait shit. That's
Exactly.
why I said this new culture is streaming. Fuck. That's the only reason that they honestly, most of them don't give a fuck. They doing this for views and all that because they know it's gonna get attention and all that. But you're doing it, like I said, with the catcher predator, Chris Hansen, he had the police by. That's why there's a reason why it went smoothly. He had the actual system behind him with this. He was working with. He's basically a fed. So yeah, y'all not feds.
Right.
Y'all going in solo though, try to do some vigilante shit. You gonna find out you not Batman.
Young MA told you, no face, no case. Tie the bandana back. Clearly, y'all don't know that. Clearly, y'all ain't hear that.
But
Y'all,
you're
y'all
streaming,
ain't catch
so
that
I
bar.
mean, but you're streaming though. So they're gonna even you wear a mask, they just have to look at your account and know who you are. That's not hard to do.
Trust me, there's a way you can get around. I mean, yeah, but oh, somebody stole my phone. But I got you. But yeah, no face, no case. Tie the bandana back. Problem
That's
point A.
that's
The
not hard.
larger problem I have here is what I've preached about until we're blue in the face, especially when it comes to this particular crime. This does not what prevent the monster.
Nope.
We're still not preventing the monster.
But how do you?
So,
How do you prevent? Okay, realistically, I know we keep saying that, and I agree. This country is reactionary. We don't never prevent the monsters, but
right.
for this, a lot of crimes can be linked to poverty. This has nothing to do with poverty.
No, you're right.
So
Well,
how do
I've
you
said
prevent this?
Oh, I've told you. I told you my idea.
What?
It is if you are convicted of a crime of this nature, you forfeit certain rights. You will be, I won't say experimented on, but you will be examined. And the same way we do with football players, upon your death, we will remove your brain and study it.
What
This
if
is a
there's nothing
disease of some
different?
sort.
But what if there's
I
really nothing different? Because
don't know. We just punish the monster. We don't do anything to
how would you?
prevent the monster.
But most of
I
the
tell you,
monsters are in power. So how are we gonna solve that shit?
they'll tell them themselves.
They'll
They'll
tell
tell
on
them themselves.
themselves.
They'll tell them themselves. I'll
Uh,
tell you how. I'll tell you how. Because the bottom line is, this is ethics. In order to say, hey, we're not going to put you in a normal state prison. We're going to put you in this specialized prison for study. And upon your death, we're going to crack your skull and keep your brain and study your brain. And until that point, we're going to be running studies on you from entry date to release date. These are ethical things. These are ethics questions. You'll find out very quickly when you try to enact these laws who's against it. You're telling yourselves. That's how you figure it out. You're telling yourselves. Because who in their right mind is going to be like, oh no, we can't vote this in the law? Why wouldn't you? We're talking about studying pedophiles and figuring out why they are how they are. Why would you not
I
vote for
mean,
this
can you?
unless,
But then again,
oh,
but
that's
if all right, listen, I'm not calling this a fetish because I don't think it is. But I'm giving an example. If you have a fetish for, what we said last week, dude, doing a couch, like couches turn them on. I mean, how can you? I'm not, I don't know nothing about that. Maybe there is a way there's a connect to it, but how do you find out and study like why is this dude attracted to a couch? It's the same thing. How do you find out that this woman or man is attracted to a child? Like I don't. How do you do that? How
there.
does that connect?
I'm
And then even if
okay.
you find the
Hold on.
answer, how are you going to find out with other people that are already here and probably already doing the shit or about to?
Well, I tell you what. In the same way we had to map the human genome. This sounds like this. Like just follow me on a very base level. Sick, but we're not talking about R. Kelly shit. We're not talking about, well, she's quote unquote developed. She just happens to be 16. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the sickos out here who think, 12-year-olds is what's what. There's
Or
something off.
pre-puberty, basically.
Right. There's something off with you. Is something off in the wiring that's not a normal behavior, right?
Right.
Because there's something off, we can figure out what it is. It's a
How do you
disease of some sort. That is not normal. It
what's
is a
the cure?
disease.
What is the cure? I mean,
Find it in the genome.
we
You
just
find it in the genome. You
we're
start by
saying is it
you
this
start by looking the genome.
is it really a disease? Because when you
Yes.
say disease, can you spread it? Because for one, there's a lot of them out there anyway. And most of them are in power or in powerful situations and usually have access to kids, which is unfortunate. So how do you stop? Even let's say you theoretically find out there's an answer, there's something wrong, blah, blah. How do you enforce that? How do you prevent it? You know the answer, but how do you prevent it?
Um,
So you want to make sure everyone gets this test mandatory, like everyone, to see if you have it, and then what? So what? You gonna go to prison because you might have that connect, even though you've never done it or even thought about it?
well, I'm not saying Minority Report is pre-crime. I'm just saying you might have to do amniocentesis. In the same way, you can tell a mom, hey, it looks like your kid's going to have Down syndrome. I'm not comparing it to, I'm just saying, for instance, in the same way, we can tell ahead of time your kid is going to be Down syndrome. Or they start to display things early on in life. Hey, it looks like your child might be on the autism spectrum. There's going to have to be some things done because ultimately what we're trying to do is prevent the monster.
Okay,
Prison
that's
don't work.
crazy. But no, obviously no. But I don't. I think. Well, I could be wrong, but this sounds more like science fiction than some shit. Because I don't think there's no way to really solve it. That like you can solve most of every other crime, easy. But that is one of them. It's like It's like how do you solve the? No disrespect. I'm just saying. It's like solving the gay gene or whatever that everyone like. How do you solve that? you can't tell if someone's gonna be gay before they're born.
Well, you don't.
It's a mentality. So it's you like what you like. So how would you be able to tell that? And there's nothing wrong with gay people. And I'm not comparing you to that. That's way different to what we
Right.
talk. I'm just saying in comparisons, like, yeah, okay, a gay person, a lesbian, whatever. Okay, maybe
But that
something
doesn't.
in their mind, but that's what I'm saying. How that's not it's like Down syndrome and autism, you can literally see the neuron links in your genetics, all that. How do you find that about you liking kids or you being gay, blah blah, or whatever? That's more like a
Well,
personality, or I don't know, personality trait, but
no, we don't know. And no, like you said, I'm not gonna link because
I'm
that's what
not linking
American
that.
society tries to do now, like tries to link
I'm not.
homosexuality and pedophilia. No, I'm not
I'm
doing
not.
that.
I'm not.
Yeah, we're not doing that. I'm just saying from the standpoint because homosexuality is not harmful.
I never
Like
said.
in a 12-year-old.
I'm saying
Yeah,
it's
no. I'm
quote
saying
unquote different than normal things supposed in society. I'm not saying me. I'm just saying society and all that shit, Christian and all that shit, and
Mhm.
religious values and all that. But they're different.
Right.
Like, and so is the peak. I'm not. I'm making this very clear. I'm not making the comparison. They're not two in the line. I'm just saying different
You're
mentalities.
trying to say
You like
preference.
what you like, and how do you catch that? It's like because I don't think we can catch the quote unquote gay gene or whatever, or the gay neurons that make you that way. So how would it work pedals?
All right, let's I get what you're saying. I just want to add some clarity to it so no one loses their shit. Um
They going to anyway, but yeah,
there's absolutely nothing wrong with liking the same gender, liking the same sex. There's
right.
nothing wrong with that.
Agreed.
There is everything wrong with liking 10-year-olds.
Agreed.
So there's never been a precedent. There's never been a reason to look into homosexuality on its face.
Well,
Contrary to what some super Christian folks might want to have you believe.
I
No,
mean, any religion. It's like,
yeah,
like I said,
yeah,
this is the
yeah,
only
no.
country that rides with it. Most countries don't. So I'm sure if there was a way to figure it out, they would.
Right. And it's like it's not being homosexual is not a genetic or personality anomaly at all. It's a variance. It's just something different.
So wouldn't
Liking
that
it,
be the same thing as
no, no,
it's
because
different. It's fucked up and the most horrible thing, but it's
I
still
tell you,
falls, it
figure
still
it out.
falls and it's different.
I'll tell you the key difference here. Tell you the key difference here. Homosexuality is not a sexual thing. It's called homosexuality, but it's not a sexual thing. It's not, I just want to bang somebody. I'm a dude. I just want to bang a dude. There are actual real ties, love, emotions connected to that have nothing to do with being underage or underdeveloped. That's the key difference here. We're talking about someone that no one's these pervs ain't out here trying to marry 10-year-olds. They're sexually attracted to 10-year-olds. That's the
I'm
problem.
actually
That's the difference.
I disagree because most of them try to do that. If they could, they would. Like I said, it's not just like they're attracted completely. Like there is some people in other countries that are literally marrying kids. So yeah, like I'm saying, it's you're saying the same thing. Like I said, they're not the exact same. One is obviously horrible. One is has nothing to do morally with the other. Well, unless you know ultra religious, then you might group them together. But I'm not. And I'm making that very clear. They're not being grouped together because of the severity of. No, I'm saying both have their quote unquote preferences in their likes. That's quote unquote different from everyone else supposedly. So how do you? I'm
Mhm.
just saying, how would you figure that out for a quote unquote gay person as you would for a pedophile? I don't
Uh,
know. I don't know. That don't even sound possible. And then even if you do, like I said, most of them are in fucking power anyway. So how do you want to really prevent it?
and again, I got no science to back this. It's just um, an adult liking an adult. There's nothing strange there.
No,
An adult liking a child, that's strange.
it
And
is.
I suspect, and I could be again. I'm just throwing something out throwing something against the wall. I suspect there's going to be an error code somewhere in the genome that causes this because you
What if
can't.
it's
No,
not? Then what? What do we do then? let's just say that we all do that, and there is no real quote unquote telltale sign like an arrow code, like you would for being on the spectrum or whatever, because you can clearly see that. But this is like is a fucked up preference, but it's like you don't like soda, or you like chicken, or you don't like you like certain girls, you like I don't how do you figure that out? And then
I,
if they do try to figure out, they go with your route and they find nothing concrete, what do we do then?
well, let's just circle back to the top of this conversation. You and I are both in agreement. It ain't no normal shit to like a 10-year-old sexually.
It's not. But how do
So
you
something's
stop it
off.
before? I
Something's
mean,
off.
how do you prevent it? That doesn't
You got,
sound.
I mean, the first place I'm looking is a genome. The first place I'm looking is a
But if
genome.
it's nothing there, then what?
Well, we ain't bothered to look to find out if it's nothing there yet. I'm convinced there's something there.
But if I'm saying you have to have one, if we're gonna do what ifs, let's keep the what if completely. What if there's nothing in the genome, nothing special, or you can find it in anybody that's not even that. So there's no real concrete difference. They just sick in that way. Then what? What do you look to?
There are markers even in schizophrenia. Again, it's not a matter of comparison. I'm just saying, going down the rabbit hole you just mentioned. If it is truly a mental illness, which I believe it is, if it is a mental illness, then there are markers even for schizophrenia.
Yeah, but that's a
Like
legit brain. But that's
nothing
legit.
is. I don't know. You got to prevent the monster. And truth be told, this is not preventing the monster. Just beating the shit out of monsters. Like this is
Yeah,
beating. They're just beating the shit out of the monsters.
yeah.
But you're not. But ultimately, you're still not preventing the monster.
It's the only one I
Like
don't know how to prevent. Like everything else, all the other crimes that people worry about society, you get rid of poverty, most of that disappears. But
it does.
that I have no idea how to get rid of that and sexual predators. I have no idea how to get rid of it. I don't think you can.
If you're talking your normal garden, as odd as this sounds, your normal garden variety sexual predator, if anyone who knows anything about SA, it's not about the sex per se, it's about power.
That's my saying. But
So,
how do you get rid of
so
that? You can't.
um,
Because people all like all classes, rich, poor, are capable and have done it and will continue to do it. So how do you like I said, the sexual acts and the pedo stuff, I don't know how to that's not a class thing. That's literally a person, people, like a human being. I
of
don't
course
know
not.
how to solve that. Everything else is you can kind of be linked to class and pretty
I
much
don't
get
know.
rid of
I mean, I'm just saying, for the sake of our children, we gotta try.
oh yeah,
Just
we
my,
gotta try. I mean, I'm
that's
with you
that.
trying, but I don't know
We
how.
gotta prevent the monster. And no, it's not
Yeah,
the ways I can think of how to prevent the monster. Yes, we're gonna have some ethical issues here. But the payoff is if we never have another 9 or 10-year-old girl in this situation.
but then again, this is one of those, and I am not capping, but you run a dangerous slippery slope. You allow the government to experiment on people, even for the quote unquote greater good. You know how many horrible shit has been done in society for the quote unquote greater good.
I'm aware.
So that's why I
Um,
said we have to trust that they're really going to do that. And then two, if you give them something, they're going to make something more of it. It's the same thing with the death penalty. Yeah, the quote unquote monsters and did such and such and all that serial killers, whatever. But we both agree states should not have the ability to execute people.
no,
It's a
not at all.
slippery slope. And we saw how that's what I'm saying with this. I don't know, man. I wish there was like we had the stones, we can just snap everyone that had that thought away. Like that would make it real easy. But we
Right.
don't. And that's the one thing I've been trying to even see your way to see if that's even doable. It's like I can't, that's the one crime or horrible crime that I can't think of a way to really prevent.
Not ethically. Not anything we try to do will not be ethical. And that's the thing.
Uh,
Anything we try to do will not be ethical. So the
freedom for protection. I guess that's what we want to do. Do it.
last piece of this puzzle, last piece of our great debaters. And this was interesting. The basketball debate and we've had this before. I really wanted to get V Sharise on this because she's a super hoops fan, and as she mentioned, got a relative that's a former NBA player. But two of the most improbable runs in NBA Finals history, in NBA history, was by the 01 76ers that should have gotten swept by the Lakers in the finals, should have gotten swept. It is a testament to just AI being a monster. And then there was the 07 Cavs, led by a young LeBron, went to the finals and got spanked by San Antonio, if I'm not mistaken. So the question mark was those two teams versus each other, 7-game series, who you taking? Somebody made a point that the 01 Sixers weren't really ass, they just were undermanned. But you did have Mutombo, you had some people on that team that weren't ass. It wasn't just AI and 4 other dudes. Whereas Cleveland, it was LeBron and 4 other dudes. At least that's what it seems like. But I with all due deference to AI, I'm probably going Cavs because LeBron is that dude. The Cavs dude is better than the 76ers dude. So when it comes down to it, all things being equal, if I count on somebody to make a play, I trust 07 Braun more than I trust 01 AI. And to their credit, 01 AI, they did get one off the Lakers that they shouldn't have got. Give them that. You know, yeah, they got one that they shouldn't have got. Ask Ty Lue. Frost up and stepped over. Ask Ty Lue. But they got one that they shouldn't have got. But if these two teams play each other, the fact that LeBron can do what LeBron does, I got Cavs in 6, worst case 7, but I got Cavs in 07 Cavs in 6 or 7.
I got Cavs in 5 or 6.
Damn, 5? Ouch.
Like, I mean, well, one, they got the best player in the series, and two, I don't, like I said, LeBron didn't have nobodies on that team because he didn't get to the finals just like completely. He backpacked more in 18 than he did in 07. But not saying he still wasn't doing most of the work. I'm just saying, but he had a little bit of help in 07. Gibson, I think Big Z was there too.
So the guy was there. Anderson Varejao was there.
Like I said, he had some great role. The same way with AI, he had some. Like you said, they were AI. They were great defenders. They just couldn't score really. That's why AI was shooting a million shots and had the average damn near 30 and 40. Because defensively, they helped them out. And then maybe spot up, hit a couple shots here and there. But offensively, it was just all AI because no one else can really do nothing. Mutombo was not a scorer. No one a scorer. Like most of the people weren't scorers. They were defenders.
Tony Kukoc is on that team, though.
What, the Sixers?
Yeah, Tony Kukoc is there and Vernon Maxwell. That might be a little bit. Yeah, Tony Kukoc, Vernon Maxwell.
Older.
Aaron McKee is on that team.
Older. These are older versions.
Theo Ratliff is there. Eric Snow was back there. Raja Bell is there.
Yeah, defenders, not really scores. Like at least Cleveland, you had Boobie Gibson. I'm pretty sure he was there. You had Zeke and score a little in the like. He had some help score. AI, it was pretty much defense around him and he can hit a few shots here and there, but mostly it was all on him. That's why he shot so many damn shots and was quote unquote and was really inefficient and all that. LeBron ain't really got that problem, especially against them.
Yeah, and this was the team that got. I was right. This was the team that got swept by the Spurs, and Shannon Brown is on that team though. Shannon Brown is there. Drew Gooden is there. Larry Hughes is there. Damon Jones is there. You got Daniel Marshall, but that's really
I think Cleveland had a better team, in my opinion.
I think they had a little more. I
Balance.
think they had a couple more offensive. I think they had a couple more offensive weapons, if you want to say weapons.
That's what I'm saying. AI
Weapons.
half. He was the one.
And that's what I'm saying. I think when it comes down to it, the Cavs' dude in LeBron is gonna be better than AI, than the 76ers dude.
Yeah. And I think Cleveland's team is better too. Even if it's by a little bit. I don't think it's a wash.
Yeah, I'm looking at this
But
roster like, gosh,
it's close, but I think Cleveland's roster is better.
and
At least more balance. That's what I would say. More balance, which will make them better.
even looking at these, I still don't have the answer because I've always said, okay, who was more improbable getting in the finals? The Cavs or the 76ers? Like, who carried that team more? And I'm like, I'm looking at the rosters and I still don't know because AI didn't have bums around. He just didn't have a bunch of offense, but they weren't bums. Batumbo's on that team, like they weren't bums.
Yeah, defenders. They were great defenders. Yeah, that's what I
I
said.
got some, like, none of these names matter on this team. So I want to say AI did a better job because the fact that they got one off that 01 Laker team that says a lot. That says a lot. Like, y'all supposed to get swept. Didn't swept badly. And y'all got one off Shaq and Kobe in the finals. Like, that team
It was a
had
one-off.
moments.
Honestly, it was a one-off. That's why it did, because they lost 4 straight after that. They stopped playing around with them. I honestly think that game one was, we thought we was gonna mop them and they was gonna fold, but they did. And then after that, they got a wake-up call and then it was done. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they got one off. It's still props to it, but I think that was more of the Lakers just kind of not taking them too serious, in my opinion.
Okay.
But
So
yeah,
I'm
they
looking at
still
the
got
roster. I got Cavs in 6, worst case 7. I got Cavs in 6, worst case 7. That's because LeBron shining bright is going to be bigger than AI shining bright.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got Cavs in 6 or 7.
5 or 6. Okay.
Damn. Damn. Okay. All right. Straight like that. Okay. So, gonna run it back with our recap. I hate that Ms. Moore isn't here to do it with us, but I love that she was present. Taking it from the top. Chrystul Kizer, and this will probably be the only time you ever hear me say such a thing. Please, someone get Kim K on the line. Please, someone get Kim K on the line and
That's
work the
wild.
same magic she did for Centoya Brown. Like, again, maybe the only time in history you ever hear me say such a thing. Somebody get Kim K on the line.
Bizarre world right now.
The plot to take out Obama, it's wild and not wild all at once. It's wild and not wild all at once. Like, yo, that's wild. But then it's like, maybe given who it is, it's par for the course. Brittany Mahomes. I just can't believe. Sometimes I don't know if certain things are white stupidity or white privilege. I really, and I don't know which one this is, white stupidity or white privilege, because read the room, not even the country, read the room. Look who your husband is. Look who he's cool with. Look who he's read the room, Brett. Do you understand the waves this can make for your house? Come on, homie. Come on, Brett. Like,
She ain't the only one. They whole house messing. His father just got another DUI and pled guilty.
Are you serious?
Brother's, his brother. So yeah, he got a whole lot of stuff that he's worried about.
She's saying getting that 3P, dog. She's saying getting that 3P. You can hang that up.
Because of
You heard it
that?
here first.
It ain't gonna be because of that.
Bro, you just said that he's the most important piece of that team and his house ain't in order.
It wasn't in order last year. And he still won.
You ain't have his wife out here liking Trump tweets either, though. Like,
But they were still flaming her all last year. That's why he started defending her. Like it doesn't matter.
okay, just pull a little Brit. Read the room. Read the room. This was a tactical error. And in fact, you kind of doubled down on it. Like, dog, I can't imagine. I can't imagine what's going on in that house right now.
Nothing. Could be another baby on the way. Who knows? I don't.
Man. Um, yeah, as far as the dudes playing Chris Hansen, I ain't mad at that per se. Like I said, listen to Young M.A. though. No face, no case. Um, and the other end result is you still ain't preventing the monster. That's my bigger overarching issue. You're still not preventing the monster. You're giving us some entertainment at pedo's expense, but you're still not preventing the monster. And that's ultimately what we want to do here, prevent the monster. And lastly, 01 Sixers, '07 Cavs. I got '07 Cavs in 6, at most 7. Your recap, sir.
Chrystul Kizer, whoever, Kim K, somebody get her out. She does not deserve to be in here, man. But that's the system for you. It ain't about justice. It never will be. The plot to kill Mama, not surprised. They ain't say nothing new. We were all thinking that during that time anyway. And we're shocked that when he won that nothing happened. But now we know why. So I guess shout out to them. Wow. And actually calling them a terrorist organization too. Even better. Or at least treating them like one. I think they said in the article, I don't remember. But Brittany Mahomes liking tweet, I don't care. I don't even think Patrick cares. The fact that she doubled down would tell me he doesn't care. Because if he had felt some type of way, you really think she would have doubled down? No. There you go.
You never answered the question neither, but it's cool.
What do you mean?
What do you do if your wife like a Trump tree, dog?
I'm never that's like asking what would I do if I'm in a cave with a monster? I would never be in the fucking cave. So I don't know how to do the hypotheticals. I'm not gonna be in that situation. But here, since you wanted a hypothetical of something that will never happen, I'm out. Is this how you feel? Sure. All right. Deuces. But I wouldn't be in that situation. So I don't even need to do that. What would you do? How about that? You asked me, what would you do?
We ain't talking about me.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you do? If your wife right now liked a Trump tweet or had a red hat in her class, you just discovered it. What would you do? And you live in Texas too, so that's more of a possibility.
We got to talk. Like we got talk, big. Like
that's it, just a talk, and then it's
because
done.
because the key difference is I'm married to a black woman, so that would be like super extra weird.
So
Like
why would you assume that I'm going? All right, that's crazy. Yeah.
I did okay.
So how am I going to end up in that situation? What to say? And we ain't gonna act like ain't no black people wearing that red hat. Let's not act like that ain't the thing.
I don't see too many black women. It's usually dudes, but I got you.
Candace Owens like to say something, but all right.
And she's married to a white guy, so there's that.
So you just dunk. All right. You got ultra instinct level dunking, man. Floyd Mayweather defense right there, boy. There you go. Great debate. Yeah. I guess, like I said, I have no problem with predators getting their ass. No problems whatsoever. But in this way, like you said, it's not preventing nothing, and you're endangering a lot of people other than just yourself. Because if they crash out, then what?
I just think the chances of that are really, really low, but I got you.
I mean, considering someone already pulled out a gun, like I don't. This has been going on for a while. You might have just discovered this, but this has been going on for a little while. And there's a lot of crazy videos of shit happening. And they tried to throw hands with one dude, and he beat the shit out of him. Like, I don't know why you think all of them were sweet. Yeah, they sick as fuck, but some of them about that life. And depending on what state you in, they might be carrying. You really want to risk that?
I'm
What if
trying to
they
figure out
use? You got no backup. It's just you.
I'm just trying to see how that video ever saw the light of day. Because I promise you, if I ran a fade with a pedo
He was
and got
live streaming. That's
and
what I'm saying.
okay,
These are all live. These aren't recorded. These are live streams. So even if you end the stream, they still gonna clip it. You getting your ass. Like I don't know how I feel about that. You thought you was Batman. You found out you're not even robbing it. You're not even robbing.
not even not Nightwing, not
You
even
a victim.
you a Vic.
Can't even get. Damn, Robin give you that mask, bro. Yeah. Um. And yeah, I'm taking the cat 07 Cavs and 5 or 6.
Okay. Well, this has been awesome. We actually have another dope guest on deck for next week, as long as everything goes according to plan. But I want to thank our amazing guest, Ms. B. Sharise Moore. Man, that's love that woman to death. Just an amazing luminary, an amazing writer, mom, just person, just exemplary as a Black woman, totally top to bottom. And I forgot she's there with you, so she's in Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yeah, she's in Baltimore as well. So feel free to grab a couple books or something. But on behalf of myself, my amazing co-host, our awesome guest, the Yeah I Said It podcast, we will see you all next week. Peace.
Now.